Hi, I'm Nicole. Welcome to the first episode of my mental health podcast. I am not an expert in mental health in the way that therapists and psychologists are an expert and have a degree and went to college and studied it. I would say that I'm an expert at mental health through personal experience, though. I've experienced firsthand, or close relatives or friends have experienced, and I've helped them work through, all kinds of mental health situations, conditions, struggles. I don't know, it's kind of, mental health I feel like is a flowing thing. It's not the same every day. It's not the same every week or every month. It's not the same by person. Even within the same person, things don't always present the same. So it's I feel like it's always good to continue talking about and to check in with people and to have people that you feel like you can check in with as well. I feel like that's the hard part for me. It's easy for me to be the type of person that other people can come to, and I help them with don't help them with all of their problems, but listen to all of their problems and offer as much help as I feel like I can give. And I do struggle with being the other end of that relationship and taking my problems to people. I think a big part of that comes from inherently feeling like a burden. At a baseline existing, I feel like a burden. Add on top of their having needs and having things be difficult and being vulnerable to other people and expecting them to listen and relate and open up, it just feels so burdensome, even though it does not feel that way when other people come to me with wanting to talk and with their issues. Majorly, I think that being a burden came from childhood PTSD. I was raised in the home with my alcoholic, unemployed father. Him and my mom got divorced when I was in kindergarten, and my dad got custody, and I was basically raised on the government system and with free government money and housing and food, and with my dad sleeping all day until 4 p.m. and then waking up and getting drunk and playing video games in the garage. Me and my sisters would be terrified to have to intrude on his space and ask him a question, or be scared to open the door and just be physically present near him and get a soda from the fridge out in the garage or anything. Basically just taking up any kind of space, whether that be physical, auditorial space through speaking or making noises. We were made to feel like that was not okay and like it was bothersome, and that he and his surroundings were more important than us and what we need. And like we were not put on the same caliber, if that makes sense. And that's now kind of how I see other people. Other people are how he made me see him, where other people's space is more valuable than mine, or they own it and I am just intruding or encroaching, even in public. It's horrible. I mean, I've cried before when I've been sitting in like a dentist office and had to call it my insurance or anything like that and have to speak on the phone in front of other human beings. I've straight up cried and had to leave the building because that is such, I feel like I am intruding on their existence with my own existence. That's just, it's crazy. It's like we're all people. I don't know. I mean, even people that are, like not super, I don't know, like that should not occupy more right to the space than I do. Just baseline, everybody else does. I don't know why. Well, I guess I might. I kind of just talked about why, I suppose, but still, it's crazy, and I'm aware of it, but then in the moment, I still feel it happening all the time. It's a very complex reaction in my brain that I have to work through, and I wonder if some of that is going to start with self-care. My therapist, gosh, what did he call it? That I suffer from chronic self-neglect, and that's true. As a kid in the household that I just described, nobody is present and actively taking care of my needs or teaching me that it's okay to have needs and to not be shameful of my needs and that I can take care of them myself or ask other people to help me. They were just, you don't have any needs, you're fine. So like brushing my hair, taking a bath, taking a shower, brushing my teeth, none of that was important when I was a child, or even talked about really. And so that kind of took on its own shape as being an adult and continuing to not care for those things because I was never taught to care for them. Consistent self-care can be a lot more difficult than people like to admit, quite frankly. It's hard to be consistent, man. I don't know what it is, but some days I feel like, okay, I can do it every day, but then I get tired from doing it every day and then I stop doing any of it. Like if I shower every day and put on my lotion and wash my face and brush my teeth and do all my morning routine and my night routine, I feel phenomenal. It's amazing and I love it and I'm so happy. Until one day I don't do it. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's on purpose. Maybe I forget. Maybe I subconsciously want to sabotage myself because things are feeling nice and I'm taking care of myself. But it almost never lasts for more than a week where I can consistently do every single thing that I know that I should and need to be doing for myself. And then when the depression hits, it's bad. The self-care is just straight out the window, man. I mean, I'll be honest on here. My fiance had to go in for a surgery on the day before Christmas Eve, and the backstory on his recent medical condition is a whole other podcast for PTSD for me. Long story short, his throat got completely cut open 20 miles up into a mountain, and his carotid artery was cut and severed, and then recently it got infected basically, and so we had to have surgery the day before Christmas Eve. And man, just watching him be in that much pain and me going through my own PTSD, I just took so many steps back in my mental health. I went over a week without brushing my teeth a single time. Like, it was horrible. I felt disgusted with myself, but it's real, and it's where I was at, man. Like, that was only a month ago, quite honestly. It's just hard. It was everything I had in me to even get up and cook meals. Like, I know some of you get it, and if you don't, like, I'm glad that you don't. You might judge me if you don't, but it's okay. It's just how it goes sometimes. And if it's never gone that way for you, I am so happy for you, and you should feel so blessed, because day-to-day life can feel so heavy, and the little tasks and chores and self-care that we have to are just expected to do every day, it can feel like a lot if you're in a space where that is a lot. I mean, recently I think one of Jacob's therapists kind of gave us an analogy for our brain having like kind of like your phone storage. It only has a certain number of megabytes or gigabytes of data or storage or functionability available, basically. If you have something humongous like pain takes up a whole lot. If you have chronic pain, I'm sure you know, on the days where it's worse, it's hard to focus on anything because you're just operating at a 98% full capacity at the get-go. So you're left with about 2% of your functioning brain to deal with everything else for the day. Depression is that same way too. Depression can take up a big chunk of that hard drive in your brain. Anxiety, PTSD, anything that you're majorly struggling with and in the pit of, it can just take up so much of your mental threshold that you literally only have a few percent available. So holding a conversation is difficult. Responding to a text message, it's difficult. I have felt so antisocial lately. Yeah, I started brushing my teeth, but no, I have not been responding to my friends and my family and answering phone calls because it's just daunting sometimes when my brain is just, I'm at capacity, man. There's no room for anything else. So as the anxiety and the depression and the PTSD started, getting a little bit better and leaving me more room, I was able to even realize, like, hey, I haven't journaled for a while. I know that makes me feel better and I've been feeling like trash. Why don't I do that today? Finally, once a certain percentage of my brain was operable and available to me, then my tools came back to me. But at a certain point, if you're over over a certain threshold in your mind's capability and its hard drive, then it's going to be so difficult to even retrieve files and to have it send you signals that are saying, hey, here's some things you can do to feel better. I know that you've done this in the past and it's made you feel better. Why don't we try that? Sometimes that's just not available in the moment. I get it. I've been there. It's been unavailable a lot. Really, I'm not sure what my goal is with these podcasts, but at the very least, I would like to create a platform and a safe space for people to come come do a mental health check-in and, just have a space where you can say, hey, this is how I'm doing. Maybe some people will care. I know I will. I would love to read all your comments. Like I said in the beginning, I'm very good at having other people come to me with their problems. Other way around, not so much. So I guess that would be my goal number 2, is to share my own experience and, retrain my brain that it's okay to take up space on the internet, okay to take up space by talking. It's okay for me to be sitting in my car in this parking garage with people walking past me, watching me film on my phone. Like, it's okay to take up space, and it's okay to create a community, and that's what I want to do, and that's what I want to work on. So if you want to be part of it, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to try to post one of these podcasts every week. It's going to be different every week, kind of depending on what I'm feeling or what I've been working through, which of my friends or family members I've been thinking of. So me and my older sister, she's diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and she's also a recovering drug addict. So she's heavily on my mind quite often. yeah. I mean, I just wanted to rip the Band-Aid off, get my first one of these posted, filmed. I'll probably have something a bit more cohesive and planned for next week, but this one I just kind of wanted to sit in my car and chit chat and see what I wanted to talk about. So thank you so much for watching this video, listening to this podcast, whatever you want to call it. Feel free to hit that subscribe button if you would like to hear more, and please feel free to use my comment sections to vent, check in, mental health, life, any of it. Just let me know what's up. I'm totally here. We're all strangers on the internet, so, you know, there's amnesty and there's safety. I would like this to be a safe place. So, once again, thank you. I hope you have a great day and a great week.